Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Hare Hare. Jaya Gaura Nitai, Jaya Gaura Nitai, Jaya Gaura Nitai, Jaya Gaura Nitai. Jaya Radha Madan Mohan, Radha Madan Mohan Radhe. Jaya Giri Govardhan, Jaya Giri Govardhan, Jaya Giri Govardhan, Jaya Giri Govardhan. Jaya Radhe Shyam, Jaya Radhe Shyam, Jaya Radhe Shyam, Jaya Radhe Shyam. Jaya Radhe Shyam, Jaya Radhe Shyam, Jaya Radhe Shyam, Jaya Radhe Shyam. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Gurudev. Shri Shri Guru Nitai Gaur Premanande, Srila Prabhupada ki, Anant Koti Vaishnav Vrind ki, Namacharya Shri Haridas Thakur ki, Prem se Gaur Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrind ki, Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shama Kund Radha Kund Giri Govardhan ki, Vrindavan Mathura Dham ki, Mayapur Navadvip Dham ki, Purushottam Kshetra Jagannath Puri Dham ki, Ganga Mai ki, Yamuna Mai ki, Bhakti Devi ki, Tulsi Maharani ki, Samaveta Bhakta Vrind ki, Jai Jai Shri Radhe, Jai Jai Shri Radhe, Jai Jai Shri Radhe.
We can ask all of you to come a little bit closer. We might have more devotees coming so that we have enough time for those to come later.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. So welcome dear devotees. to this afternoon session of the Bhakti Immersion Retreat 2024. I am very grateful to each and every one of you. Haribol. See, this garland is ready. We have to prepare another garland. So I welcome all of you, dear devotees, here to this afternoon session. And dear devotees, we had a wonderful morning session by His Holiness Sachinandana Swami Maharaj. And who remembers which verse of the Bhagavad Gita he was speaking about? Man manabhav mad bhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru. And in all four, which is the most important, dear devotees? Man manabhav. That was the essence of the presentation. And who remembers the verse from the Padma Puran that was quoted? Okay. Smartavyah satatam vishnur vismartavyo na jatuchit sarve vidhi nishedhasyur etayor eva kinkara. Dear devotees, it is important to revise within 24 hours of anything being taught. Otherwise, after 1 week, we lose 95% of whatever was taught. So, I went to my room and immediately revised the shlokas. But it was a very nice presentation. Maharaj, thank you so much for quoting Sri Ramanujacharya, his wonderful commentary on how he is Karunya Samudra, Audarya Samudra, and Saushilya. I am still trying to memorize all 7. I hope by the time the retreat ends, I will have all 7 memorized, dear devotees. Thank you very much, Maharaj, for the wonderful presentation. Dear devotees, morning presentation was a very happy one. This one is a depressing one.
Why?
Because we are looking into God's unfulfilled desires, dear devotees. But before we begin, I'd like to offer Mangala Charan, auspicious invocations. Most of us know these verses. You can kindly sing along with me. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Soyam Rupaha Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desha Tarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratushe Namaha. He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Tanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada ki, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki, Nitai Gaur Premanande. Dear devotees, before we begin our journey into exploration of God's unfulfilled desires, it's very important to understand that this particular topic is not meant for ordinary people. It is not meant for non-devotees. It is only meant for rasikas. Dear devotees, all of you who are in the sampradaya of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu are expected to be rasikas. And this is specified right in the Srimad Bhagavatam. The third verse of the Srimad Bhagavatam expects all the readers to be rasikas. Nigama kalpataror galitam phalam shukamukhadamrita drava samyutam pibata bhagavatam rasamalayam muhuraho rasika bhuvi bhavuka. Drink Srimad Bhagavatam constantly, oh rasikas. So dear devotees, I am very happy that I am in the association of sahridayas, like-minded devotees such as all of you, who can appreciate topics of rasa. Sri Rupa Goswami, before he sat down composing his verses, he had some anxiety in his heart. His anxiety was that there will be some people who will misunderstand his verses. Because where he used to stay, Sri Vrindavan, was a place full of renunciants. And there were many renunciates there who did not believe in Madhurya Ras, who thought that the affairs of Radha and Krishna are nothing but affairs between a boy and a girl, which have somehow been spiritualized by these followers of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. There were many renunciates who did not believe in Madhurya Ras, and therefore Sri Rupa Goswami wrote his literature only for sahridayas, or those who are like-minded. He composed a verse, dear devotees, in the beginning of his dramas, Lalita Madhav and Vidagdha Madhav, and this verse is glorification of the Vaishnava audience. And at the same time, it also throws a sarcastic pebble at the non-devotee audience. But all of you are devotees, so the glorification is for all of you, dear devotees. This is from the Vidagdha Madhav. This is an introductory verse. I will try to sing, please repeat after me. Udasatam nam rasana bhigya Kritau tavami rasikah sphuranti Krame lakai kamamupekshitepi Pika sukham yanti param rasale Udasatam nama. Let some people become indifferent towards what I am writing. Let them neglect what I am writing. Who are they? Rasa anabhigya. They do not understand what is rasa. Dear devotees, for the first time I heard Sri Rupa Goswami critiquing somebody. Usually I have not seen Sri Rupa Goswami write a statement of criticism towards anybody. Because Nindadi shunya hridamipsita sangalabdhya. His heart is free from the tendency to critique people, but this particular topic is so close to his heart that he makes an exception to his own rule. And for the first time we see Sri Rupa Goswami make a critical remark. Rasa anabhigya, those who are having no taste in bhakti ras let them neglect these discussions. Kritav tavami rasika spuranti, but the rasikas will definitely take great pleasure in it. The connoisseurs of Bhakti Rasa will take great pleasure. The followers of the Sampradaya of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will definitely take great pleasure in it. Then he gives an example. Kramailikai kamamupekshitepi. Kramelaka. The Sanskrit term is Kramelaka. The English term is camel. Upekshitepi. Even though the camels neglect it. What do the camels neglect? Pikaha sukham yanti. But the cuckoos relish it. What is that? Param rasale. The sweet mangoes during the summer season, dear devotees. The camels may not eat mangoes, but the cuckoos definitely relish mangoes filled with rasas. This is the translation. Do we have... Yes. Prabhu, can you read the translation? Yes.
Translation. Those who are averse to this bhakti ras can happily show indifference towards it, while those who are expert in it will certainly always dive deep. The cuckoos relish ripe mangoes on the trees, whereas the camels prefer to avoid them, and they eat thorny bushes instead. Goloka-dhama 1:9.
So, dear devotees, there are many spiritualists in the world who have no taste in Bhakti Rasa. But the Gaudiya Vaishnavas are not like that. They are like the cuckoos who eat the sweet mangoes. And the cuckoo has another good quality. What is that good quality? Sing very sweetly. So, eat nice mangoes and sing very sweetly. These are the two functions of the cuckoo. And those who are speaking about giving up the material world, how disgusting the material world is, escape the world as soon as possible, attain liberation, dear devotees, they are torturing their body uselessly, exactly like a camel. The camel tortures himself by eating a thorny bush, and then the thorns prick his tongue and then blood comes out. And the camel thinks there is taste in the cactus. So, the Shushka Vairagi, the renunciant who has nothing to do with Bhakti Ras, they are happily eating the thorns of their renunciation. And they are torturing their body by eating very less. And their own renunciation, which is torturing their body, they consider as rasa. They are compared to camels. So, dear devotees, this is not an assembly of camels. This is an assembly of cuckoos. So, let's begin, dear devotees, our exploration into God's unfulfilled desires. But before we begin that, there is something to say about the qualification of the speaker. The speaker in front of you today is so qualified, his name has been mentioned in Shastra, believe it or not. I was born in Mumbai, which is the western part of India. So in India, I am a western devotee. Shri Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami speaks something about me in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Dear devotees, would you like to hear what he says about me? If you like to hear, please say a loud Haribol. Haribol! See, all of you are enthusiastic. Please repeat after me. Paschimera Loka Sabha Mudha Anachara Prabhu, kindly read the translation.
The people in general on the western side of India were neither intelligent nor well behaved.
So Paschim means west and not west of the world. It doesn't refer to Europe or the United States. I tried to see if that interpretation fits, but no. This is about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's travel. And did Chaitanya Mahaprabhu travel to the west of the world or to the west of India? India. So that is where the observation was made by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So this is the qualification of the speaker who is sitting in front of you. Dear devotees, you are taking a big risk. But now that you have taken the risk, and now that you have come to the retreat, might as well take the risk fully. Alright? Because in the immediate next line, he says something. Taha pracharila dohe Bhakti sadachara.
But by the influence of Srila Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami, they were trained in devotional service and good behavior.
So dear devotees, I am sitting here in a replica of Sri Sri Radha Damodar Mandir, where I can see from the window Sri Rupa Goswami. So I have some hope that I will be trained in good behavior. Otherwise, my original qualification is given in the first line. Dear devotees, our Sri Krishna's life is filled with immense emotions. His life began in Vrindavan, and in Vrindavan he made all the Vrajavasis fall madly in love with him. Especially the gopis of Sri Vrindavan were always hankering to have his association. The gopis never asked for anything from him other than his personal association. But our Krishna was not satisfied and he wanted something else. One fine day, our Krishna sat on the chariot of one particular personality whose name is very strange. What is his name? Akrura. He is the person who is named the complete opposite of who he is. He should be named Krura. What is Krura? Cruel. I don't know who named him Akrura. And Akrura took him on his chariot, and our Bhagavan was thinking, I will go to Mathura, I will rule happily, and these Vrajavasis, they will cry for me. When I hear that they are crying for me, I'll feel how important I am. See, they are missing me. Dear devotees, he left Mathura and he went to accept the kingdom of Mathura after killing Kamsa. One fine day, he was sitting on top of his palace and looking at the various directions in his kingdom. Suddenly, his eyes fixated upon the direction of Vrindavan. And on top of the roof, something started happening. This is described by the previous acharyas. Sri Rupa Goswami specifies in Uddhav Sandesh. This verse is in the meter Manda Kranta. I will try to sing it. Please repeat after me. Shvasolasai ratha taralita sthula nali kamalah. Shvasolasai ratha taralita sthula nali kamalah. Kurvan purna nayan payasam chakravalai pranale. Kurvan purna nayan payasam chakravalai Smaram smaram pranaya nibidam Vallavi Keli Lakshmi. Smaram smaram pranaya nibidam Vallavi Keli Lakshmi. Dirghotkantha jatila hridayas tatra chitrayito bhut. Suddenly he looked towards Sri Vrindavan and he remembered the sweetness that he experienced in Sri Vrindavan. Dear devotees, since the day he has left Vrindavan, he could not pick up his flute. Not a single day of playing his flute after he left Vrindavan. In Vrindavan, he used to wear comfort clothing. Dear devotees, he could pull up his dhoti till his waist and enter into the waters of Yamuna. Will the king of Mathura have the same luxury, dear devotees? Ever since he left Vrindavan, he did not pick up a flute, dear devotees. We often think about what is the suffering that the Vrajavasis experienced. But suffering is not one-sided. The blame for the separation is squarely upon him. Whose decision was it to leave Vrindavan? Krishna. He has to take the entire blame for leaving the Vrajavasis. And thus he must cry. Dear devotees, he must cry. Sri Rupa Goswami says, he saw in the direction of Vraja and he remembered. In his childhood, Mother Yashoda used to call him. And when he would come near her, she would take pan, betel nut leaf. She would chew half upon it and give the remaining half to him. That betel nut leaf was very sweet. There is no betel nut leaf in Mathura as sweet as that. Devaki will not have the courage to feed him because she has seen him with 4 arms. It's only Mother Yashoda who could do that. He has not eaten the sweet remnants of his parents ever since he left Vraja. Whose loss is it, dear devotees? Vrajavasis or Krishna? I want a Gaudiya Vaishnav to answer, who is not afraid of what Krishna will think. Whose loss is it? Yeah. Now you have gained some confidence. Once again, with greater confidence. Whose loss is it? Krishna. It is his loss, dear devotees. He is the one whose loss is much greater as compared to the Vrajavasis. When Krishna remembered this, Shvasollasair, he started breathing heavily. Taralita sthula nali kamala. His lotus garland started shaking vigorously because he started sobbing uncontrollably at that point of time. But in front of whom can he cry? Can a king cry in front of anyone? The gopis can at least cry in front of each other. Who does he have? If anybody comes to know that the king of Mathura was crying, the news will spread and all the rival kings will come to know that this person is not actually fit to be a king. He is just a cowherd who is pretending to be a king, dear devotees. And he doesn't want his ill repute to spread, especially amongst his rivals, such as Jarasandha, Shishupal, etc. Shishupal is anyways writing Sahasranam, 108 auspicious names of Sri Krishna. So he doesn't want that, dear devotees. So he cries alone. One time Uddhav notices that he is crying alone. And then he decides to do something about it. But Kurvan Purna Nayana Payasam Chakravalai Pranali. His eyes were replete with many tears. Chakraval. Hosts of tears were coming from his eyes. Smaram Smaram. Again and again he remembered. Pranaya Nivadam. That full of love pastimes, especially the pastimes Ballavi Keli Lakshmi, the pastimes with the gopis. Dirghot Kantha Jatila Hridayas. He had such anxiety in his heart. His heart became stunned. Tatra Chitrayi Tobut, and he became like a painting on the wall, dear devotees. This is his condition in Mathura. He has not yet reached Dwaraka. This is what is happening in Mathura when there is still time to go back. This is the translation of the verse.
While repeatedly remembering the glorious love-filled pastimes with the gopis, his breathing got heavy and the lotus garland around his neck began to shake vigorously. His eyes welled up with a host of profuse tears. Due to his immense anxiety, his heart became stunned, and he then appeared as still as a painting on the wall.
Dear devotees, this is the Acharya of Bhagavad Gita, who is going to tell everybody to avoid shoka, lamentation, in the Bhagavad Gita. What is the definition of an Acharya? The Vaishnavis can tell. Who is an Acharya? One who teaches by his example. So this is the Acharya of Bhagavad Gita, who is teaching by the exact opposite example of what he is going to speak. No wonder in Dwapar Yuga, after he spoke Bhagavad Gita, nobody became a Vaishnava. Nobody bothered to distribute his book in Dwapar Yuga. They all knew. He is an Acharya who does the exact opposite of what he has said in the Bhagavad Gita. He only does it secretly so that people don't come to know. Srila Prabhupada is also unrelenting in his criticism of Sri Krishna's activities in this regard. Srila Prabhupada Uvacha. Prabhupada says something in Krishna book, chapter 47.
We know all about Krishna and how ungrateful he is. But here is the difficulty. In spite of his being so cruel and hard-hearted, it is very difficult for us to give up talking about him. And it is not only we who are unable to give up this talk, but great sages and saintly persons also engage in talking about him.
So that is our problem. Although we know that he is so hard-hearted, he still has one good quality, dear devotees, because of which we are speaking about him. Does anybody know what is his good quality? The most important good quality that he has, because of which we are still speaking about him. Sweetness. If there is no sweetness in leaving the Vrajavasis, what sweetness is remaining now? All attractive. Okay. Dear devotees, there is only one good quality. The most important quality is that he is dear to Srimati Radharani. Otherwise, we would have given up on him long ago. Therefore, in all the temples in the world, we are making sure that her name is placed before his name, so that we know, we are reminded why we love him, dear devotees. What is the name of the deity? Madan Mohan? Radha Madan Mohan. Now we love him, alright? So Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur used to say, we Gaudiya Vaishnavas are not lovers of Krishna. We are servants of Sri Radharani and we love Krishna because she loves Krishna. That is our motivation for loving Krishna, nothing else. Otherwise, independent of her, we know what is his nature, dear devotees. And then, dear devotees, he happened to marry 16,100 wives simultaneously. Does anybody know how he managed to find 16,000 wives at once? Yes? Yeah, he freed them from the prison of a demon. Anybody knows the name of the demon? Bhaumasur. Dear devotees, Bhaumasur had captured 16,100 princesses from different regions of the country. And he had kept them captive, and Shri Krishna freed them after killing Bhaumasur. The princesses said, "We cannot return back to our kingdom because we are afraid that nobody will accept us." So Shri Krishna accepted all of them as his wives. It is very much possible, dear devotees, that before they met Shri Krishna, when these princesses were staying in their respective kingdoms, they might have had some love interest with somebody else. But that love interest could not be fulfilled because they were captured by Bhaumasura. Therefore, these 16,100 queens are definitely very dear to Krishna. But one queen is especially very dear to Krishna. She who had Krishna as her first love and whose love succeeded. Who was that queen, dear devotees? Rukmini was that queen. Dear devotees, Rukmini's first love of life, and that is the most special love, was Shri Krishna. And she obtained Shri Krishna as her husband. So dear devotees, I'll ask you a question. Who was Rukmini's first love of life? And who was Krishna's first love of life? So there lies the difficulty. It is very difficult for him to forget his first love. That is Sri Radha. And the gopis of Vraja were very different in comparison to the sophisticated queens of Dwarka. They all wanted a separate palace, dear devotees, even at the time of marriage. And the gopis he used to call in the middle of the forest at night. The gopis should have demanded a separate, at least an apartment from him, right? By this logic, they should at least get an apartment. He never gave them anything and called them in the middle of the night. And when they came to him, he is innocently pretending, "Why have you come here? Please go back." So therefore, Srila Prabhupada gives him the choicest words, dear devotees. In the book Perfect Questions, Perfect Answers, the devotee who is speaking to Prabhupada, his name is Bob Cohen, Brahma Tirtha Prabhu. He asks, is rascaldom also present in Krishna? So Prabhupada says, yes, Krishna is the biggest rascal. I had never heard anybody use this adjective for Sri Krishna. But we are Gaudiya Vaishnavas. And he loves to hear these adjectives from us. Therefore, every morning we come together and say, Yatha tatha va vidadhatu lampato. What is the meaning of lampato? Debauchee. Wonderful. So, all of us come every morning for one main purpose, dear devotees, to sing the Shikshashtakam, and at the end of the Shikshashtakam is the cherry on the cake. So, the gopis of Vraja were very simple hearted, and they were not hesitant in sharing their love with other gopis. And the queens of Dwarka always wanted everything separate. Separate palace, separate wedding. How many weddings were organized in Dwarka? 16,100. So separate weddings, separate palaces, separate gifts. And Krishna has to manifest 16,100 simultaneous forms in order to satisfy all of them. After Krishna had satisfied all of them and married them, and he was especially very happy with staying with Rukmini, still within his heart there was immense dissatisfaction. Sri Rupa Goswami describes in the Padyavali, one fine day Sri Krishna was sitting in his palace in Dwaraka, and suddenly something unexpected took place. This verse is in the same meter, Mandakranta, same as the previous verse from Uddhav Sandesh. I'll try to sing, please repeat after me. Ratna Chhaya Churita Jaladhau Mandire Dwarkaya. Ratna Chhaya Churita Jaladhau Mandire Dwarkaya. Rukminyapi Prabala Pulakodbhedamalinggitasya. Vishvam payan masrinan yamuna tiravanir kunje. Vishvam payan masrinan yamuna tiravanir kunje. Radha keli parimal bhara dhyana murcha murare. Radha keli parimal bhara dhyana murcha murare. Ratna Chhaya Churita Jaladhau. Dwarka was on the shore of the ocean, and the palace of Sri Krishna, especially that palace which he made for Rukmini, was so brilliant, Ratna Chhaya, that the jewels on the palace used to reflect in the ocean in the daytime. Mandire, this palace was made in Dwarakaya. One fine day, Sri Krishna is sitting, looking outside the window. Suddenly, something happens unexpectedly. Rukminyapi Prabala Pulakod Bhedamalingitasya. Rukmini, who is usually very sweet and simple in nature, she usually doesn't play any tricks on Krishna. It is usually the other way around. It is he who plays tricks on her. Suddenly, she decided to play a trick on him for a change. She came from behind him, and without him realizing, she suddenly embraced him from behind. Our Sri Krishna at that point of time, Pulakod Bhedam, his hair stood on end. Mapsarana Yamuna Tira Vanira Kunje. He thought usually no queen will do like this. Has Sri Radha come and embraced me from behind? And out of this ecstasy, dear devotees, Dhyana Murcha Murare, our Krishna fainted on the spot in front of Rukmini. Dear devotees, this personality is no longer fit to carry out the duties of a king. Or let's put it another way, he never was fit to carry out the duties of a king. You can take Krishna out of Vrindavan, but how will you take Vrindavan out of Krishna? And that is impossible. our Bhagavan is fainting simply by a simple surprise that Sri Rukmini played towards Sri Krishna. This is the translation of the verse.
In a brilliant jewel-studded palace in Dwarka, Krishna was suddenly embraced by Rukmini, which caused goosebumps on his body and caused him to faint. His fainting was caused due to meditation on the sweet, loving pastimes with Sri Radha that took place in a kunja on the soft banks of the Yamuna. May this fainting of Krishna protect the entire world.
Yeah, may this fainting protect the entire world, but first let's protect Sri Krishna, dear devotees. He is not in a good state of mind at this point of time. Srimati Rukmini started noticing that his behavior is changing day by day. On another particular day, something else happened. Rukmini Devi arranged everything nicely for Sri Krishna. The dinner was arranged nicely, and it is very standardized in the palaces. There is a fixed time for everything. It's not like Vrindavan, where sometimes Krishna has to go hungry and beg from the wives of the Brahmanas. It's not like that. Everything is systematic and organized, and everything happens on time. Rukmini Devi comes with all her, maid servants, and everything is arranged nicely for Sri Krishna. There is no element of surprise remaining in life, dear devotees. No element of surprise. Everything has been regimented in Dwaraka. After eating his dinner, Rukmini Devi and Sri Krishna casually lie down together. Krishna has his arm around her, she has his arm around him. Gradually both fall asleep. In the middle of the night, he starts blabbering. And this is described by Sri Rupa Goswami in Padyavali. This verse is in the meter Shardula Vikriditam, same as Shad Goswami Ashtakam. I'll try to sing, please repeat after me. Nirmagnena mayambhasi pranayata Pali samalingita Kenalikam tavadya kathitam Radhe mudha tamyasi Ityutsvapna parampara sushayane Shrutva giram sharngino Sushayane Shrutva giram sharngino Rukminya shithili krita sakapatam Kantha graha patuva Rukminya shithili krita sakapatam Kantha graha patuva. Suddenly in the middle of the night he starts blabbering. Nirmagnena mayambasi. Yes, I dived into the Yamuna. I know I dived into the Yamuna. I am not denying that. Pranayataha Pali samalingita kenalikam idam. But who spread the rumor that after diving in the Yamuna, I embraced the gopi named Palika? Who spread this rumor? Radhe mudha tamyasi. Oh Radha, why are you getting angry on me? This is blabbering in the sleep. And who is next to him, dear devotees? Now Rukmini is having Dakshina Swabhav. She is so favorable that she will not speak a single word against Krishna. This is her nature. Even though when Krishna had taken her away in marriage, and Rukmi, her brother, had chased Krishna and Balram, and they had humiliated Rukmi by shaving off half his hair, Rukmini never brought out the topic ever in front of Shri Krishna. Never ever. This was not Rukmini. Satyabhama was different, dear devotees. Satyabhama was the opposite end of Rukmini. So between Satyabhama and Rukmini, all the other queens were there, dear devotees. If Satyabhama gets angry, he'll have to fight with Indra in order to console her. And Rukmini will never get angry. This is what Krishna's dissatisfaction is. No matter what I do, she never gets angry on me. One fine day, he told Rukmini Devi, Rukmini, are you sure you did the correct thing by marrying me? People don't accept me as a king, you know. Many people say I am still a cowherd. And my way of life is uncertain. Sometimes I behave like a Vaishya, sometimes like a Kshatriya. I don't have any fixed designation in life, Rukmini. There is still time. Maybe you want to reconsider. By the time he had said that, she started crying out and fainted on the ground. He had to pick her up with 4 arms. This was one of those rare times he manifested 4 arms in Dwaraka. And when he revived her, he said, I wanted to have the fun of joking with you. I wanted to see you angry. Acha, you wanted to see me angry? Why didn't you tell me earlier? These things are not told in advance. Can a householder not even enjoy a few moments of loving quarrel with his wife? That is what he said to Rukmini on that day. What is householder life meant for? Dear householders, what is householder life meant for, if not loving quarrel, dear devotees? But Rukmini is so submissive. There's an English term, docile. She's very submissive. So Krishna is, in his dreams, he is thinking about that particular love of his life who knew how to pay him back in his currency. Radhe mudha tamyasi. Oh Radha, why are you getting angry? Who spread the rumor that after diving in the Yamuna I embraced Palika? He himself had spread the rumor, dear devotee. He will tell Madhu Mangal, after I dive, go tell her, in the Yamuna, he embraced Palika. I want to see her face after that. Ityut Swapna Parampara Sushayane. This is Swapna Parampara, series of dreams. Not one dream, dear devotees. Every night, some or the other nonsense is being blabbered in the dreams. Shrutva Giram Sharngino, hearing these words of our Sri Krishna. What should Rukmini have done, dear devotees? Let's ask the Vaishnavis because they represent feminine energy. What should a wife of Sri Krishna do when she hears such words from Sri Krishna? Dear Vaishnavis, please tell me. Please empathize with Rukmini Devi at this point of time. And tell me what should be done. Please muster up some confidence and without worrying about what Krishna thinks for the time being. Huh? Please.
No cooking.
Huh? No cooking. Today you sleep outside. No cooking. Yes, Mataji.
Hide and cry.
Hide and cry. Oh my goodness.
I think she shared her lamentation with Subhadra and that she could understand something about Krishna.
That's okay. I'm not saying what she did. I'm saying what should she do. We know what she is going to do because her nature is known. But what should she do? Confront him. Yes. That's more like it. Huh? How many of you agree? Please raise your hands. See all the Vaishnavas. Huh? Now they are mustering up the confidence. Huh? Rukminya shithilikritah sakapatam kantagraha patuva. Rukmini suddenly, just to make him aware that he's blabbering in sleep, suddenly and scratched her arm so that her grip around him is loosened and he woke up because of that. Nothing else, dear devotees. Nothing else. Just on the pretext of scratching an itch on her shoulder, she just, coughed a little and scratched her shoulder, and on that pretext she woke him up. That's it. That is Rukmini Devi. So Krishna's life in Dwarka, he's missing a lot of things in Vrindavan, dear devotees. This is the translation.
Oh Radhe, who spread the false rumor that while swimming in the waters of the Yamuna, I embraced Palika? Why do you believe these rumors and needlessly get agitated? On hearing these blabbering words of a dreaming Krishna, an awakened Rukmini loosened her embrace around his neck on the pretext of scratching an itch. May this pastime protect you all.
At this point of time, it is evident that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is physically present in Dwarka, but mentally he is in Vrindavan. Sri Krishna remembers very fondly that the lady who is most compatible with his nature is not to be found in Dwarka. The entire wealth of the world is present in Dwarka. Thousands of palaces are present in Dwarka. He has become the king of Dwarka. Yet he does not have happiness in Dwarka. Our Acharya Sri Rupa Goswami has caught this fact in his writings. Yatha syurnayakavastha nikhila eva madhave tathaita nayikavastha radhayam prayasho mata Yatha syur nayaka avastha. The avasthas, the varieties of moods and emotions that an ideal nayaka, an ideal male companion can have, they are all present in Sri Krishna. But there is no queen in Dwarka who can match the range of emotions that Sri Krishna can express as an ideal hero. There is nobody in Dwarka. There is only one particular energy, Shakti of his, one particular lady in Sri Vrindavan who can match the entirety of the range of his emotions. And who is that? Sri Radha. Tathaita Naika Avastha. Similarly, almost the entire variety of moods and dispositions of an ideal Naika, ideal feminine consort, are present exclusively in Sri Radha. Sri Rupa Goswami uses almost there, prayasho. For Krishna, he does not use almost. For Sri Radha, he uses almost. Because Krishna has the freedom to behave as cruelly as he wants. But she will not respond with a very harsh level of cruelty. She can be a little harsh upon him as long as it is pleasing to him. But she will not be too harsh on him because she knows that is not pleasing to him. So as long as it is pleasing to Sri Krishna, all those range of emotions are present in the personality of Srimati Radharani. And there are some emotions which are not so pleasing to Krishna. They are present in other gopis. I'll bring them out in the course of this presentation. Sri Krishna remembers how she was capable of completely capturing his heart simply by the movement of her eyes. She did not need to do anything else. Simply by the movements of her eyes, she could capture Sri Krishna. Dear devotees, Sri Rupa Goswami, in his Dana Keli Kaumudi, introductory verse, the first verse of Dana Keli Kaumudi, he speaks about this as follows. This verse is in the meter Shardula Vikriditam, same as Shad Goswami Ashtakam. Can we sing together this time, dear devotees? Yes, let's sing together. Antasmeratayojjvala jalakana vyakirna pakshmankura kinchit patalitanchalar rasikato sikta pura kunchati रुद्धाया पथि माधवेन मधुरा व्याभुग्नतारोत्तरा राधाया किल किंचितस्तबकिनी दृष्टि श्रियं वह क्रिया. Krishna's mind goes back to Sri Vrindavan, especially Sri Govardhan, where there is a place named Dan Ghati. And the Dan Ghati is a place where the path of walking is very narrow. Sri Radha would go walking down this path, he would be hiding. Suddenly he would jump in front of her and stop her path. He did at one point of time. When he did that, Sri Radha responded simply through her eyes. Antah smera tayojjvala. Antah smera. Smera is smile, dear devotees. Can all of you smile? Antah smera. Can you smile from the inside? There is something called as smiling from the inside. Smiling from the outside is done using the mouth. Smiling from the inside is done using the eyes. Antah smeratayojjvala. She did not smile through her mouth, she smiled through her eyes because she did not want to show that she is very happy. So the first emotion that was visible in her eyes was joy. Jala kana vyakirna. There were tears that suddenly came to her eyes, but she prevented them from falling. These tears ended up as small droplets of water on her eyelashes. So the front part of her eyelashes has tiny droplets of water which indicate that she is slightly shivering in ecstasy at this point of time. Second emotion. First emotion is joy. Second emotion is she is thrilled. Kinchit patali tanchita. The corners of her eyes have become slightly reddish, indicating that she is also feeling love. Rasikatot sikta. These eyes are drenched with rasa. Puraha kunchati. And she is slightly contracting her eyes, so that she also wants to show some fear. How many emotions in a single movement of eyes, dear devotees? 4 or 5 different emotions in a single glance of the eye. Ruddhayah pathi madhavena. This happened when she was prevented on the path. By whom? Madhava. Madhura vyabhugna tarottara. The iris of her eyes started sparkling at this point of time. Another emotion. Radhayaha kila kinchitas tabakini drishti. May this kila kinchita vision of Sri Radha, this kila kinchita glance of Sri Radha, Shriyam Vaha Kriyat, ensure auspiciousness for all of you, dear devotees. Now, what is kila kinchita? I did not translate it. I left it as it is. Because Sri Rupa Goswami is a connoisseur of rasa. He is using a very specific term. So, we'll first read the translation and then I'll explain what is kila kinchita.
On being stopped by Madhava as she was walking down the path, Radha's eyes developed a bouquet of wonderful emotions. These eyes glistened due to her inner smile. The eyelashes got adorned with unshed tears of joy. The corners of the eyes got reddish and drenched in joyous emotions. These eyes were slightly contracted and glancing in a sidelong manner. May this glance of Sri Radha, containing the kila kinchita bouquet of various emotions, ensure auspiciousness for all of you.
Dear devotees, in Dwaraka, can he behave like this? Is it possible to behave in this manner in Dwaraka? Rukmini is walking, suddenly he comes and stops her path. Arre, what? How are you? You are king of Dwarka, behave yourself. You have some reputation to protect. So, dear devotees, it is not possible. And will Rukmini give him kila kinchita after 10 years of marriage? Usually after 2 years of marriage, it becomes bland in most cases. After 10 years of marriage, he will stop Rukmini and then she will give him kila kinchita. It's not going to happen. How much, where should Krishna go in order to get this particular emotion? But he cannot go. Sri Rupa Goswami says this is Sri Radha who has a very specific mood. This mood is called as Mugdha. Please repeat. Mugdha. Mugdha is a girl who has just entered her youth. She is very shy. So that is Mugdha, and Sri Radha completely fulfilled the role of a Mugdha Naika at this point of time. Sri Rupa Goswami specifies kila kinchita in his verse, but this kila kinchita is taken from previous acharyas. Please repeat after me. Smita shushka rudita hasita trasa krodha shramadinam Sankaryam kila kinchitam Abhishtatam sangamadi jadharsha. So, this is the definition of kila kinchita. Please read.
A mixture of smile, false crying, slight laughter, slight agitation, slight anger, slight fatigue, etc. is known as kila kinchita. This occurs due to sudden attainment of a desired object or person.
So this is what Sri Krishna was expecting in Dwaraka, but he never attained it. Moving ahead, this was Sri Radha when she was very shy. Gradually, as her age increased, the shyness slightly goes away and slight boldness occurs. This, dear devotees, is shown in her keen intelligence when Krishna is expecting it the most from her. This verse is in the meter Mandakranta. I will sing it. Please repeat after me. Madvaktrambo ruha parimalon matta sevanubandhe. Patyuh Krishna Brahmara Kurushe Kim Taramantarayam. Trishnabhistvam yadi kalaruta vyagrachitastadagre. Pushpai pandu chavima viralair yahi punnaga kunjam. Srimati Radharani one particular day was sitting with her mother-in-law. What is the name of her mother-in-law? Jatila. She is sitting with her mother-in-law Jatila outside her home. At some distance, behind another home is hiding Shri Krishna. Krishna remembers this. And Krishna, in order to call her, he is playing the flute. Jatila does not understand what is going on. But Sri Radha understands what is going on. Suddenly, a bumblebee comes there. A very dark colored bumblebee. Sri Radha then says something to the bumblebee. Mad vaktrambo ruha parimalon matta sevanu bandhe. Patyu Krishna Brahmara. O Krishna Brahmara, O dark bumblebee. Mat vaktrambo ruha. You are attracted to my lotus-like face. But sevanu bandhe kurushe antarayam. But here I am engaged in serving my husband. Abhimanyu. Why are you creating a disturbance for me? She is speaking in front of Jatila, to the bumblebee. Oh, dark bumblebee, I am busy here serving my husband, Krishna Brahmara. Why are you creating a disturbance in my service to my husband? Jatila is very happy. Trishnabhistvam. If you are very, very thirsty, Kalaruta, oh sweet sounding one. This is a term which can be used for the bumblebee as well as for Krishna, because Krishna is also playing the flute. Oh sweet sounding one, if you are very thirsty, Tadagre, then just go ahead. Pushpai Pandu Chavim Aviralai Yahi Punnaga Kunjam. Go ahead. Just nearby at a distance there is the kunja of the Punnaga, yellow flax flowers. And go satisfy yourself there. In this way, Sri Radha indicated to him that Sri Krishna should meet her in some time in Punnaga Kunj at a distance from her home. This was the expertise of Sri Radha. And Krishna was expert in picking up the signals. This is the translation.
Oh Krishna Brahmara, dark bumblebee, lusty Krishna.
Okay, just a minute. Brahmara also means lusty. So there are two meanings to the term Brahmara. Brahmara means bumblebee. Brahmara means a lusty person. Alright, so she knows how to use shlesha, pun. In English we call it pun. Two meanings of a single term. One of the 64 arts that the gopis have learnt very expertly. Please continue.
O Krishna Brahmara, dark bumblebee, or lusty Krishna, being attracted by the fragrance of my lotus-like mouth, you have come here. Why are you disturbing my service to my husband? O sweet-sounding one, if you are getting agitated at heart, then quickly proceed to the kunja that is resplendent with a yellow hue due to its sufficient quantity of blooming punnaga, yellow flax flowers.
So this, dear devotees, is Sri Radha in the mood of a Nayika, which is technically called as, please repeat, Madhya. First was Mugdha, she's a little shy. Then is Madhya, partially shy, partially bold. That is Madhya. Those of us who have not seen Punnag, because nowadays we have stopped observing nature. Ever since we got access to smartphones, we stopped observing nature closely. So Punnag is this flower. It is very fragrant. This is Punnag flower, yellow flax. A very fragrant flower. And when the entire kunja is filled with it, it's very thick, so you cannot see anybody who's entered into this particular place easily. So this was the expertise of Srimati Radharani at that point of time. There is a third type of mood in this, wherein the shyness is completely gone and only boldness is there. Because first mood was shy and no boldness. Second mood was partially shy, partially bold. Third mood is fully bold. No shyness. That is not to be seen in Sri Radha. Because in that particular mood, there are other gopis like Chandravali. Previous year, when I had given a seminar on Shikharini of Sri Rupa Goswami, I had quoted one particular verse where Sri Krishna is returning dejected because he was sent away by Sri Radha, and on the way he meets Chandravali. And he is thinking about Srimati Radharani so much. After seeing Chandravali, he says, "Oh Radhe, how are you?" Chandravali says, "Yes Maharaj comes, I am okay. How are you?" Foolish girl, where did you see Kamsa? You tell me where you saw Radha. Oh my God. Then he bowed down his face. He was still smiling, dear devotees. Nirlajjah sada sukhi. A shameless person is always happy, dear devotees. Always happy. But that sort of Nayika, that sort of a emotion of a lady is called Pragalbha. Pragalbha is she who is fully bold. It is not seen in Srimati Radharani. It is seen in the other gopis who are dear to Sri Krishna. Krishna terribly misses the sulkiness, the man, especially when he is with Rukmini Devi, because Rukmini Devi does not become sulky for any reason. No matter how hard he tries, even if he has told her, "Leave me and find somebody else," still she did not get sulky. This is Rukmini Devi. Even on giving the highest reason for sulkiness, she is not getting sulky. Quite the opposite nature is Sri Radha. Sometimes she would get sulky for no reason whatsoever. She would just detect by looking at him, by looking at the, what do they call, physiognomical features, by looking at him, she would understand that this person wants me to become angry at this point of time. So Sri Rupa Goswami says, Ahaitukaman, without any reason she will get angry at him, just so that he can experience happiness. This verse is in the meter Malini. I will sing it, every line we will break into 2 parts. Please repeat after me. Ahamiha vichinomi Tvadgiraiva prasunam Kathaya kathama kande Chandivacham yamasi Viditamupadhinalam Radhike shadhikena Priya sakhi kusumena Shrotramuttam sayami. So one fine day she detected that he wants me to become angry. Suddenly she started ordering him around. Krishna, go collect flowers from that particular place. I want immediately in 5 minutes. Get to work. So, all, definitely. So he went and collected. So our Krishna is running on Indian Standard Time. Half an hour later. Yeah, I bought all the flowers. So she knew he is also deliberately getting late. So then she looked at him with great anger. Then Krishna says, Ahamiha vichinomi, I am plucking flowers here. Tvadgiraiva, by your order, I am plucking flowers here. Don't you understand? Huh? Now I bought for you all the flowers. Kathaya kathama kande. Now without any reason, Chandi, oh Chandi. Chandi means, Chandi, oh fierce one. Vacham yamasi. Why are you keeping quiet? Say something. Is everything okay? And with anger, yeah, everything is okay. Then Krishna says, Viditam, now I understood. Upadhinalam. Now I understood what you want. Radhike, Shadhike, oh Radhika, Shadhi, please instruct me. Kena priya sakhi kusumena, which flower I should use to decorate your ears? Karnamuttam sayami. I forgot. I didn't only have to bring the flowers, I also have to decorate you. Sorry, I have to be separately told. It's my mistake. At that point of time, she started laughing loudly, and he also laughed loudly. Because this was false man, sulkiness for no reason, dear devotees. So sometimes he wants to relish these particular emotions. And she is the one who perfectly fulfills all of it at the perfect time that he needs it. And in Dwarka, dear devotees, there is no possibility of such an immediate expression of sulkiness through the via medium of any particular queen. Satyabhama once got angry, he didn't get flowers. And then how did he have to get those flowers? Can anybody tell? By fighting with Indra. Sri Radha will never put our Krishna through such an exercise, dear devotees. I told you there are two extremes. One is Rukmini, who will rarely ask for a flower. And one is Satyabhama, who will ask for the flower from heavenly planets. This is the translation.
Radhe, by your order I have gone to collect flowers. O Chandike, fierce one, what happened now? Why are you sulky for no reason? I understand now, Radhika. My dear Saki, please tell me which flower I should use to decorate your ears.
So this is what he used to experience daily in Vrindavan. Every day. Today he is carrying a heavy crown on his head. Dear devotees. No comfort clothing. And flute, forget about it. The king of Dwarka doesn't play his flute. Last year I showed a particular verse in which Sri Krishna placates or removes the man of Sri Radha. On another day, Sri Radha had called him at one particular place to meet. That place is called Sanket Sthali, indicated place. In the evening, he got late by 2 hours as usual. So she got angry and she went to a particular place of hers, which is called as Mohan Kunja. The Gaudiya Vaishnavas call it Radha Mohan Kunja. Shri Krishna came there by tracing her footsteps and then started knocking on the door. And she would not open. Suddenly Lalita Devi opened the door slightly, came out and said, "Hear carefully and go back to your home after you hear this message." Her love is like a gunja seed. A gunja seed is fully red. Only at its mouth it is black. Her love is like a gunja seed, which means she has love in her entire body, but our Sakhi is shy, therefore sometimes she doesn't express it through her mouth. Therefore you take advantage of her. Vachana Patu, you word juggler. Your love is exactly the opposite. It is only on the mouth, nowhere else in the body. Just as the beak of a parrot is red, only the beak is red, not the entire body. Now you heard it? Chalo. So Krishna went home with a heavy heart that day and thought, what should I do to convince her back? That night he told Nanda Maharaj, "Baba, from many days I am having a desire." Nanda Maharaj, what desire? Tell me. Every morning you invite so many guests in the morning assembly, all the music is playing, everything. Can we invite Maharaj Vrishabhanu tomorrow morning? Sure. With family. 100%. So that night, a doot, a messenger was sent to Maharaj Vrishabhanu. Maharaj Vrishabhanu, Nanda Maharaj invites you for tomorrow morning's breakfast assembly. Please grace the assembly with your presence along with your family. Right, fine. So this person, Sri Krishna, he will first make her angry. And on top of that, he has the audacity to, instead of going to her home and saying, "I am sorry," he will force her to come to his home, dear devotees. Next morning, Srimati Radharani and her family, they all came. So there was a big assembly hall. You have to visualize in your heart, big assembly hall. On one side, Krishna and his family are sitting. On the other side, Srimati Radharani and their family are sitting. There are musicians playing music, and through the window there is sunlight coming. Alright, morning assembly. Sri Krishna is trying to wave to her. She is not interested, she looks away. At this point of time, this is the verse which Sri Rupa Goswami composes. This verse is in the meter Shikharini. I'll sing it, same as Jagannath Ashtakam. Please repeat after me. Shiras chayam Krishna swayam akrita radha charanayo. Shiras chayam Krishna swayam akrita radha bhujavalli chayamiyam api tadiya pratikritau. Iti krida kope nibritamubhayorapyanunaya. Prasadau jiyastamapi guru samaksham sthitavato. Shikharini. So the name of the meter should fit within the meter. This is a rule in the Sanskrit science of meters. The name of the meter should also fit within the meter. So this is the meter Shikharini. Sri Krishna is sitting here, Srimati Radharani is sitting on the other side. Suddenly Sri Krishna did something. Shiras Chayam Krishna. Krishna took the shadow of his head. Swayam Akrita, and placed that shadow. Where did he place it? Radha Charanayor, at the lotus feet of Srimati Radharani. She saw that this person's shadow is coming near me. She wanted to escape, but she could not escape. The shadow was faster and caught up with her lotus feet, and his shadow touched her lotus feet. Dear devotees. Bhujavalli Chayam, she took the shadow of both her hands and placed it on the shadow of Sri Krishna's head at this point of time, dear devotees. Iti Krida Kope, this is the joyous, loving sulkiness of Sri Radha. Try to understand, dear devotees. Her sulkiness is not, I'll make him suffer, then you will understand what it is. That is not her sulkiness. At least not at this point of time. Maybe in the future, we will see what happens. Who knows what is going to happen in the next two set of presentations. But at least for the time being, it is not there. Jiyastam, all glories to Prasadav, Anunaya Prasadav, all glories to this act of begging forgiveness by Krishna and giving forgiveness by Sri Radha. Why Guru Samaksham? Because Krishna managed to ask for forgiveness in front of both parents without the parents even realizing it, dear devotees. So this, dear devotees, is Sri Krishna's expertise in Sri Vrindavan, and Sri Radha, who understood each and every move of Sri Krishna's body, mind and words. This is the translation.
In order to
placate
Sri Radha, Krishna voluntarily placed the shadow of his head at her feet. She put the shadow of both her palms on the shadow of the head of Krishna. In this way, both of them, seated in front of their seniors, pacified each other and relieved their sulkiness. May this act of placation by Krishna and loving forgiveness by Sri Radha be victorious in all the worlds.
Dear devotees, there is a painting for this particular verse. But this is not what happened actually. Krishna did not put his head directly at the feet of Sri Radha. So this painting was lacking. Last year I did not have this painting, dear devotees. So there's a very special devotee amongst us who is also a very good artist. She got inspired by this particular verse, and dear devotees, she created a painting for this particular verse. This is the reason why I repeated this verse, dear devotees. So this painting is a freshly created painting for this verse, dear devotees. So this painting was done by Purnamasi Devi Mataji. She's from Slovenia, yes, and she stays with her husband Banka Chandra Prabhu. Is he here? No, he is not here. So thank you, Purnamasi Mataji. This is a very, very good painting, and it is the success of the presentation of previous year, dear devotees, that somebody got inspired to paint a new painting. So I'm always searching for new art, but very rarely am I able to convince a devotee for creating new art. I am so happy that she got inspired by it. So dear devotees, we should give her a big round of applause for creating it. साहित्य संगीत कला विहीन साक्षात पशु पुच्छ विषाणहीन. Bhartrihari says every person, every human should know one of three things. Sahitya, either literature, Sangeet or music, Kala or one of the arts. Somebody who doesn't know any of these, Sakshat Pashu, directly an animal. Why did you take human birth? He says. So I am very confident in presenting this topic in this assembly because I know there are many connoisseurs of art, music and literature present here. And thank you so much, Mataji, for kindly reciprocating with the effort of translating the verses. I am really grateful for the same. Dear devotees, our Sri Krishna finally said something to Rukmini. And this is what Sri Krishna said. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, Krishna says to Rukmini, Balavadbhi krita dvesham prayastyakta nripasanam. Prabhu, kindly read the translation.
I have created enemies with powerful kings, such as Jarasandha, etc., and I have practically relinquished the royal throne.
Dear devotees, he says this to Rukmini Devi. He was coronated as the king of Dwarka. Officially, on paper, he is the king of Dwarka. But all the kingdom is being managed by King Ugrasen. The Acharyas explain in their commentary on this verse, the entire kingdom is being managed by King Ugrasen. Because it seems that this king is no longer suitable for carrying out the duties of ruling a kingdom. At this point, I will pause the first part of my presentation. Tomorrow we will see where we can go from here and if there is something which we can do to fix this condition. Would all of you like to fix this condition of Sri Krishna, dear devotees? So, we have to do something. So, thank you very much, dear devotees. Yadatra skalitam kinchit vidvam saha purayantu tat. Yadatra saushthavam kinchit tad guroreva me nahi. Yadatra skalitam kinchit. If there's any mistake that I made in the presentation, vidvam saha, you are all learned devotees, purayantu tat. Please correct any mistakes. But yadatra saushthavam kinchit. If there's anything nice in the presentation, a single slide, a single verse, a single line, a single word or a single syllable, if you found it nice, please know, tad guroreva. It belongs to my Gurujanas. My Diksha Guru, my Shiksha Gurus, all the disciples of Srila Prabhupada, all the God brothers of Srila Prabhupada, all the Gaudiya Vaishnavas from the past and those who will come in the future and those who are in the present, including all of you, are also my Shiksha Gurus. It belongs to you. May nahi. It doesn't belong to me. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. Maharaj, we'll give the mic to Maharaj.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very, very much for your excellent presentation that was so full of wonderful tastes, actually, of understanding how Krishna thinks, how Radha thinks. Thank you very much. I have one very brief question. you distinguished the mood of Dwarka from Vrindavan with something that might solve a question I have since a long time. You said how the queens in Vrindavan all have their separate palace and so on, and arrangements, whereas the gopis share everything, and Krishna calls them collectively into the forest. And then you said also Krishna has to expand himself into 16,000 and more forms. Now, when he is with the gopis, I once heard that is not expanding himself, it's always Krishna, and that I heard became obvious when Krishna danced with all these gopis in the Rasa Lila. I heard he had not really expanded himself for each gopi, but somehow he remained this one same Krishna, but he danced so swiftly that and I heard it, but yeah, of course, with the Achintya Shakti, everything is possible for Krishna, but do you have some further illustration? First of all, did I hear correctly? And then how exactly did he do it?
Yes. So, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur gives the understanding that it was one Krishna who danced so rapidly that the gopis felt as if he is with them. Then he says, or another possibility is that one Krishna was with two gopis, like he used to, So, and the other acharyas say that there is a specific type of manifestation of Krishna known as Prakash. Prakash cannot be translated as expansion. Prakash refers to originals. Like, you can't say that this is the original and this is the expansion. There are as many gopis, those many replicas of Shri Krishna. So, that concept of Prakash is introduced by Sri Jiva Goswami at that point of time, because every gopi has to feel that he is paying exclusive attention to me. So that is the concept of Prakash Vigraha. And that same concept is also in Dwarka. When he married 16,000, it was Prakash, replicas. It was not one Krishna from whose body 16,000 came out. So Sri Jiva Goswami says what happened in Dwarka also happened in Vrindavan. But Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur said what happened in Vrindavan was different. There was one Krishna who danced between all of them. Sri Sanatana Goswami says the first and foremost the big problem is the age. At what age did the Rasa Leela take place? The age does not look suitable for such a meeting to happen. Then Sri Sanatana Goswami says for Rasa Leela, specifically for the purpose of Rasa Leela, and because it is going to take the entire night of Brahma, therefore Krishna and the gopis manifested a suitable age for that particular night when the Rasa Leela was about to happen. The area of Govardhan is not sufficient to have a little private space for every gopi. So Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that Govardhan at that point of time, the area of Govardhan dynamically expanded so that everybody could have a little corner of their own. And then Sri Jiva Goswami says Krishna manifested replicas. But when Krishna disappeared, the main point, the thrust of the entire point was when Krishna disappeared, they all got together and they were not saying, where is my Krishna, where is my Krishna, where is my Krishna. So they all got together and they all were saying, where is Krishna? They went to the banks of Yamuna, held hands together and cried on the bank of Yamuna. So that is the difference between the mood of the gopis and Dwarka queens. The acharyas say the queens of Dwarka are of such a nature sometimes. One queen wants to send away another queen. Why don't you go to your parents' house for a few days? So this nature is sometimes found in the queens of Dwarka. But this is not found in the Vraja Gopis. They are okay with sharing their love because Krishna was happy. So as long as Krishna is happy, we are okay with it. So that is what I hope that answers the query to some degree of satisfaction. Yes, thank you. Do we have time, Maharaj?
Yes.
Okay. It's 12:55, so Gaura Hari Prabhu, you should tell me when to stop. Okay?
I think we are supposed to end at 1,
Hmm.
but Prasadam is at 1:30.
Oh.
So we are flexible.
So let it begin. Okay. So Pujarini Mataji, let's give the mic to her.
Hare Krishna.
Mic.
Thank you for a very beautiful and sweet presentation. So we hear that Rukmini Devi is an expansion of Sri Radhika and Satyabhama is an expansion of Sri Chandravali.
Nah.
No?
Srimati Radharani has Vam Swabhav or Dakshin Swabhav?
Wow.
Vam.
Mm.
And who has Vam Swabhav in Dwarka Leela?
Satyabhama.
Oh.
Okay, so that was my confusion.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you so much for this wonderful presentation. I have somewhat of a related question. So in Krishna book I was just reading how Krishna enters, description of how Krishna entered Mathura, and there were very two peculiar incidents happening. So the first one was with the washer who refused to give Krishna's clothes when he requested it, and Krishna just cut off his head. And then the other one was with a hunchback lady who expressed very openly lusted desires for Krishna. And then Krishna, he made her beautiful form, and then he said like, okay, I'm going to fulfill your desires by later. And I just recently heard that with this lady, hunchback lady, that in the previous Ram Leela, she was Shurpanakha, who had a desire to enjoy Ramachandra in this way. Maybe could you elaborate a little bit more on that? And if there's any kind of a backstory with the washerman who had his head cut off in a dramatic fashion like that.
The backstory that I have heard, and this is Kim Vadanti. Kim Vadanti, who said we don't know. Alright, so it is technically called Kim Vadanti. Huh? So Sanskrit, it is Kim Vadanti. Kim Vadanti. Aham na janami. I don't know. But it is passed on as oral tradition. Kim Vadanti. So there is a Kim Vadanti that she was first the daughter of Bali Maharaj who got attracted to Vaman Dev, but Vaman Dev was a brahmachari. And then she appeared as Shurpanakha and she got rejected again. And finally she got accepted as Kubja. Kubja is the hunchback lady. Sri Rupa Goswami says Kubja also has Madhurya Ras, but in Madhurya Ras there are three varieties of Madhurya Ras: Sadharani Rati, Samanjasa Rati, and Samartha Rati. Thank you. Sadharani, Samanjasa and Samartha. I will explain briefly. Sadharani is when desire for self-enjoyment is the greatest and desire for giving pleasure to Krishna is very less. This is Sadharani Rati. Samanjasa Rati is when desire to give pleasure to Krishna is great and there is some desire for self-pleasure. Samartha is when the exclusive desire is to give pleasure to Krishna. Sadharani Rati is found in Kubja. Samanjasa, mixed, is found in the queens of Dwaraka. Samartha, the desire to give pleasure exclusively to Krishna, is found in the gopis of Raja. So that is the backstory behind her. That washerman, he was associate of Kamsa. There is no backstory as far as I have seen. There is no backstory. Krishna Balram requested him to give the clothes and he said, "You cowherds, get out of here. These are a king's clothes." So after a little argument, Krishna just uninstalled his head. Just to put it in very mild words. Krishna uninstalled his head from his body. So that is what happened. I hope that satisfies your query. Thank you. So please remember some technical terms were introduced. I speak technical terms so that they can be remembered. Sadharani rati, conjugal love towards Krishna, where the desire for giving pleasure to oneself is much greater than desire for giving pleasure to Krishna. Samanjasa, mixed, where the desire to give pleasure to Krishna is greater, but there is also a good proportion of giving pleasure to the self. Samartha, the exclusive desire to give pleasure to Shri Krishna. That is found in the Gopis and Shri Radha. So that is what it is. We say selfless love. It is rare to be found even in some corners in the spiritual world, dear devotees. What then to speak of the material world? All right. I'll thank you, Prabhu. Yes, go ahead, Prabhu.
Thank you so much for this beautiful presentation. We hear that Krishna is giving full power to his Lila Shakti to organize his pastimes in Braj. So my question is, when he's going out to Mathura and Dwarka, is he also like submitting himself to the Lila Shakti, or once it's outside of Vrindavan then it's a different arrangement, or is he maybe not fully responsible of living, and or how?
So Krishna is always in control of his Leela Shakti, because if Shakti at any point of time starts dominating over Bhagavan, another name for Shakti is Maya. And if Maya becomes stronger than Bhagavan, then we have a philosophical problem called Mayavad, where the strongest entity is Maya. So that cannot happen. What is Mayavad? The philosophy of Maya becoming stronger than Bhagavan is called Mayavad. So in short and sweet words, a Mayavadi says, you are also supreme, you are also supreme, you are also supreme, just covered by Maya. So then question arises, who is stronger, supreme or Maya? Maya. This philosophy is called which Vad? Mayavad. So this is in two short sentences, this is an explanation of what Mayavad is. So this cannot happen. He always remains in control. But for the purpose of Leela, he introduces separation in the pastimes. So when he leaves, she is in charge of two things. First is to make sure that all the flavors of separation are experienced in Vrindavan. Because what is the purpose of separation? Not so that they will suffer. There is no material suffering involved in any separation. The purpose is to invoke the highest happiness by introducing separation. Dear devotees, today we heard a lot of verses about sadness of Krishna. How many of us did we experience sadness or happiness? Please raise your hands. Think about it. Did we experience sadness or happiness? Both? Happiness. So separation is a different type of happiness. Happiness in a different package is called separation. Sri Sanatan Goswami explains how separation is also happiness by giving an analogy. He says if your hand you put it in fire, the hand will become burnt and it will become dark in color. And you will have a burning sensation in the hand. Because fire has the nature of burning. If you put your hand in freezing ice, again the hand will become dark and you will have a burning sensation. It is called frostbite. Externally, a frostbite looks exactly the same as a burn. Externally, a frostbite gives the exact same sensation as a burn. But it is caused, a frostbite and a burn are caused by two opposite entities. Externally, The separation in Vrindavan looks exactly like material suffering, but it is caused by the exact opposite, the highest happiness that can be had in all the worlds. That is what we should understand. Analogies are good for explaining, until we experience it in person. So I asked today the devotees, what are you feeling? Are you feeling sad or are you feeling happy? It's difficult to answer because that sadness is also leading to some sort of relishment within the heart. So that is what it is. He is in control. In between, whenever they have a tremendous desire to see him, sometimes he manifests himself suddenly. Rupa Goswami says this in Laghu Bhagavatamritam. Even in separation, sometimes there is spurti. Spurti means a particular gopi feels he came in front of me. Not everybody doesn't see, only a particular gopi sees him at that point of time. So that is possible even in separation. So that is the answer to your query. Thank you. Anybody else? Yes, at the back.
Hare Krishna, thank you so much for this amazing presentation. We are talking a lot about relationships with Krishna in this world and in the spiritual world. And I was just wondering, when we are talking about the spiritual realm, is there any mention of jivas changing their relationship with Krishna? From, I don't know, brother to servant to brother or something like this, just like some change. Because I'm wondering, as the Vrindavan pastimes and the relationship is always somehow relished as the highest, and I see especially in Srila Prabhupada's ISKCON that we always kind of meditate on these pastimes. So, but in the spiritual world there's a lot of other relationship.
Alright.
So I don't want to assume everybody here is from Vrindavan and this is our relationship with Krishna. It's a little bit confusing this, so if there's anything to
Alright, so the main point of the question is, does the same living entity change relationships in the spiritual world? Am I correct? Alright. There is a possibility that a particular living entity may want to be in different roles and different relationships with Shri Krishna. Sometimes this takes place within the same personality. And Sri Rupa Goswami in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu gives examples of devotees who have a mixture of two or more rasas. It is called Sankula Rati. The technical term is Sankula Rati. For example, Uddhav is also a friend and at the same time a servant. He has both rasas mixed within his personality. So the technical term for that is Sankula Rati. But that is not your question. Your question is something else. Your question is, if a person has a pure emotion, like purely a servant, can they become a brother or a sister or something like that? If that starts happening, it will go against the principles of rasa. Because the cornerstone of rasa is called bhava. And the cornerstone is called sthayi bhav. The meaning of sthayi is permanent or fixed. If sthayi bhav changes, then it will go against its very name, sthayi. Therefore, it does not change. Does it mean that the jivas in the spiritual world are forever trapped in one relationship with Krishna? The answer to that question is also no. Because if a jiva has any particular desire in the spiritual world, Krishna will not hesitate to fulfill the desire. A jiva can assume multiple roles in the spiritual world. For example, Narad Muni is also a friend of Krishna, Madhumangal. Narad Muni is also Naradi Gopi in the spiritual world. Sometimes people speculate or give an understanding that Srila Prabhupada had one fixed relationship with Sri Krishna, and they give various theses that this was Prabhupada's relationship with Sri Krishna. I disagree by saying that a particular entity can have multiple roles in the spiritual world. Why limit any particular living entity to one particular role? So the answer to your query is they can have multiple relationships but in multiple identities, because a living entity can take on multiple identities in the spiritual world. So I hope that satisfies your query. Yes, thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Yes, anybody else? Yes.
Hare Krishna, thank you so much. I had a philosophical question, if you could give some answer that is correct according to our parampara and philosophy. Is sometimes I'm confronted with the question: does God have a sex? Does God have a sex? Is he a male, female? Some people say now in modern world that this is just a material designation we have put on God. Actually, it does not have any. And as I understood, it's the Purusha and Shakti. It's that he is male. And could you explain a little bit what is actually Shakti in Radharani and also what is Purusha?
Govindam Adi Purusha. So, Shastra says that Krishna is Adi Purusha. Adi Purusha means he is the original masculine principle. And what is the meaning of Shakti, feminine principle, and masculine principle? So, there is a relationship between Ishvara and Shakti. Before creation began, Ishvara was alone because Shakti had not manifested herself. Then Ishvara developed a desire, Ekoham Bahusyam. I am alone, let me manifest many other forms so that there can be relishment. With the help of his Shaktis, because the Jivas are also Shaktis. Tatastha Shakti. Jiva is Tatastha Shakti. So Jiva is Tatastha Shakti. With the help of these Jivas, he manifested the creation. So Ishvara is Niyanta, the controller, and the Jivas are Niyantrita, the controlled. So that is the difference between Ishvara, who is the original Purush principle, and the Shaktis. Now, he gives freedom to the Shaktis sometimes to even disobey him. That freedom is there. Like Sri Radha can say a no to him. Sorry, it is not going to happen. So that complete freedom is there with the Shaktis also. So his controlling the Shaktis should not be seen in the sense of a master controlling the slave. Sometimes we misunderstand this. He is controlling the Shaktis lovingly, agree to carry out what his desire is, and he also lovingly, without any force, asks them to do what he desires. So that relationship is a relationship of love. It is not a relationship of force. So that is the relationship between Ishwar and his Shaktis. Prabhupada explained this in simple terms on many occasions. So that is what it is. Niyanta and Niyantrit. Niyanta means he is the controller, he is the direction giver, and they carry out his orders. Although many Shaktis have the capability of doing even against his orders. For example, he may not want to give bhakti to a particular individual. But if Hladini Shakti decides that this particular individual should get bhakti, then it doesn't matter. Alright? So Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur used to say something, and I will show you what Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur used to say about Gaudiya Vaishnavas. I will point out, So can you read, Prabhu? You have the mic with you? Yes. Please read this question and the first paragraph.
Who are the Gaudiya Vaishnavas? Devotees of Vishnu are called Vaishnavas. Devotees of Krishna are called
Karshnas.
Karshnas. And the devotees of Sri Radha are called Gaudiyas.
So this is what basically we are. So we are actually devotees of Srimati Radharani. This is the clear opinion of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. So this is from his book Amrita Vani. It's a collection of his teachings. So this is basic difference between Shakti and Shaktimat, the person who controls Shakti. So Purush Tattva is he who controls, but he is also dependent on his Shakti for his pleasure. So that is what it is. Alright, thank you. Anybody else? Yes.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
So while you were explaining Krishna's feelings while he was staying in Mathura, I was thinking why God put himself in such condition. I mean, he's God. So it seems to me like life without suffering is, I don't know, too boring, or it seems that even in spiritual sense that pleasure cannot exist without suffering.
I
can you say something
yes,
about
yes.
it?
See, Prabhu, your good name, Prabhu?
Navadvip Chandra.
Navadvip Chandra Prabhu. So Navadvip Chandra Prabhu, for any relationship to flourish, two very important components are needed. So does anybody know what are the two most important components of a relationship? Union and separation. Because too much union destroys a relationship. Now I have given this example, many times. For example, Prabhu, your good name? Sumit Prabhu. Sumit Prabhu, you are my friend, right? No. You are my friend, okay? And I want to come and stay with you for 1 week. The condition being you will not speak to anybody else, and we will speak to each other and no other interaction with anybody else. All right, for 1 week.
Yes. With you, bro, it is wonderful.
Arre, don't behave like das. Equals. And you have to cook for me thrice a day.
I'm blissful.
His case is like Rukmini Devi. Never I want somebody with more fervor. Huh? Prabhu, your name? Jai Gopal Prabhu. 1 week exclusively. Give up your phone and only Hari Parshad Das. See, Jai Gopal Prabhu is thinking about it right. So, separation needs to be introduced in any particular relationship for the relationship to be successful. And therefore, Sri Krishna introduced various degrees of separation in the relationship so that the relationship can attain its highest taste, which is not possible otherwise. I give this example frequently and I am giving it again. I come from Mumbai, which is western part of India, and Mumbai is responsible for spoiling the entire country of India. Does anybody know why? See, the experienced devotees here. There is Bollywood in Mumbai. Every year, Navadvip Chandra Prabhu, Bollywood churns thousands of material songs. Many songs are songs of love. These songs of love can be categorized into two broad types. Songs of union songs of separation. Does anybody know which songs are appreciated more? The opinion is loud and clear. But separation is suffering, right? Or it is not. So as I said, separation is a different type of pleasure, a different type of rasa. Even in the material world, it gives some perverted pleasure, so people love separation. They love the idea of separation, at least they love the idea of separation. So, but in the spiritual world, this separation causes a lot of pleasure, and this pleasure is had exclusively by the residents of Vraja. There is no material suffering involved in Krishna Leela, and this is proved by our acharyas by quoting Srimad Bhagavatam 10:11:58. Iti nandadayo gopa Krishna Rama katham muda kurvanto ramamanascha navindan bhavavedana.
145.
I should announce? Prashadam is at 1:45. We can count. I am happy, dear devotees. Navdeep Chandra Prabhu, you have the mic with you? Yeah. Can you read the translation that is given?
Sorry, I cannot see.
See, alright, I'll read. In this way, all the cowherd men headed by Nanda Maharaj enjoyed topics about the pastimes of Krishna and Balram with great transcendental pleasure, and they could not even perceive material tribulations. Although so many demons were attacking Vrindavan, there was not a single iota of material suffering involved. So this is the praman given by Sri Jiva Goswami to prove that there is no material suffering involved. It's all pleasure. It's all unadulterated pleasure. That is why God decides to come in Kali Yuga and suffer through this pleasure, dear devotees, for the last decade of his life in Jagannath Puri. I don't know, it came to me yesterday, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he came, he could have had his pastimes in such a way that he could have relished the pastimes of union with Swarup Damodar, Rai Ramananda. But he chose purposely to suffer through those pastimes of separation. So what is the reason? That we have to understand from a rasa point of view. So Navdeep Chandra Prabhu, I hope that answers the query to some degree of satisfaction. Or do you have some further reflection upon it?
I have to think about it.
Yeah. You also have to experience it. All right. So since Prashadam, thank you. Since Prashadam is at 1:45, so there are two options. If somebody has any other seva or some other work, they can go to their respective places. Or if you want to, if you have nothing to do, just like me, you can stay here with me. All right? So anybody else? Yes, Prabhu.
Hi, Krishna. So looking forward for tomorrow. Hopefully my question won't break this rasika mood. But you mentioned at the beginning of the lecture how Gaudiya Vaishnava, we kind of give Krishna also this kind of I'm lost.
Adjectives.
Can you explain also about it in a way a neophyte devotee can understand this and not kind of chastise Krishna? For me.
Srila Prabhupada himself was explaining this in Perfect Questions, Perfect Answers. I quoted this, and in the very first chapter of Perfect Questions, Perfect Answers, this question is asked. So, Prabhu, you can take the mic. I will ask what Bob is asking and you speak what Srila Prabhupada is speaking. Okay? Is Krishna attractive to rascals?
Oh yes, he was the greatest rascal also.
How is that?
Laughing. Because he was always teasing the gopis.
Shyam Sundar, teasing? He gets interested. Teasing?
Yes. Sometimes when Radharani would go out, Krishna would attack her. And when she would fall down, Krishna, don't torture me in this way. They would fall down and Krishna would take the opportunity and kiss her. He laughs. So, Radharani was very pleased, but superficially, Krishna was the greatest rascal. So unless rascaldom is in Krishna, how could rascaldom
be existent in the... This is how you explain to a new person, dear devotees. But Srila Prabhupada can do this. If we try to do this, then the temple president will call us and say, is everything okay with you? So, this is the mood of a Gaudiya Vaishnava. Prabhupada frequently displayed these moods because that is what a devotee of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu does. Gives great pleasure to Krishna. Krishna sometimes likes to hear words of chastisement. Please try to understand. Krishna likes to hear words of chastisement. A new devotee may not be eligible to create new names, but at least a new devotee can repeat the names given by the previous acharyas in Guru Parampara, right? Yes, those are bona fide names. Yatha tatha va vidadhatu. Bas, that's it. So even a neophyte, when he comes to the temple, every day he recites Shikshashtakam. In that way, from the very beginning of their spiritual lives, we are taught how to give gali, abusive words, to Sri Krishna. In a bona fide way, because we are following the previous acharyas. So whatever the previous acharyas have done, we just follow exactly as it. We don't create our own new words, but we follow in the footsteps of the previous acharyas. If they have decided that Krishna should be decorated with a particular adjective, we will follow in their footsteps and we will also decorate Sri Krishna with that adjective. Are we not afraid? No. Why? Because we are not devotees of Krishna. Whose devotees are we? But that's it. That is the sum and substance of the subject matter. I told you Krishna gives some freedom to his energies, that if she decides no, he is okay, then Krishna can't do anything. So that is what. If Sri Radha says, yeah, this is okay, this was actually uttered by me, Lampato, he is, repeating what I have said, it's okay. So Krishna has to tolerate at that point of time. But it gives him good pleasure. So that is why we say. We say because not to annoy him, we say in unison with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the morning. So we are not independently calling Krishna Lampato. Our calling out to Krishna is in unison with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, so that the voice gets bigger and Krishna can hear it clearly, how he has behaved towards the Vrajavasis. So that is the answer to your query. Okay, thank you, Prabhu. Yeah, anybody else? Yes, Loka Pavani Devi. Yes.
Hi Krishna, thank you very much for everything you said. It was very interesting and inspiring. But for me, sometimes I still, when I read Chaitanya Charitamrita and when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he exhibits these symptoms of separation, and then he hits his head on the wall and there's bleeding, and so that's difficult to understand. Maybe like the emotion as such of separation is okay to understand. What he does to himself, to his body, what the body manifests. I mean, I know he has a transcendental body, and he's the only one who can actually manifest these symptoms, as I understand. But still, can you say something? I mean, it sounds like real pain, and not something that's very pleasurable in this example.
Yeah, it sounds and looks like real pain, but the entire subject matter of the presentation will gradually come to that point. Why? It was that he chose to suffer like this. We have to understand why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was crying in Gambhira. It begins from Dwarka. The crying begins from Dwarka. And it will end up in Gambhira. But I have to take you gradually to that particular point. There are various poets coming up beside Sri Rupa Goswami. Poets whom Chaitanya Mahaprabhu liked very much. They will perhaps express what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had to say. So that is, I will keep it a secret, assuming that you will attend all the presentations. Okay, thank you. Anybody else? Okay. I think they are all ready for prasadam. Prasade sarva dukkhanam hanirasyopajayate. Prasad immediately destroys all suffering, dear devotees. So, thank you very much. Thank you, Maharaj, for kindly being here. And we are also awaiting Swayam Bhagwan Keshav Maharaj. So, we'll hear from him tomorrow.
Tomorrow morning.
Yes. And this evening, we are again looking forward to diving in the ocean of mercy, in the 7 oceans of mercy.
Actually, there are holy pastimes.
Oh, holy pastime.
We will hear the flying of colors and emotions and something special.
Okay. So, we will dive in the ocean of pastimes. One of. Okay, wonderful. Thank you so much, Maharaj. Thank you, dear devotees. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande. Ananta Koti Vaishnava